this draw could not have gone any better for Maurizio Pochettino's side. Andy, I'm going to come to you first. Given all the build-up, all the years of waiting, and they've known which group they were going to be placed in, but not the teams, and there's been so much upheaval, angst, so much. This young group have gone through a lot during the last World Cup, a new manager coming in. Everything's building towards a successful World Cup on home soil in 2026. This couldn't have got any better, right? This draw for them, when you look at playing Paraguay, who they played recently and will fancy their chances against, Australia, the team everybody really wanted.
And they played recently.
And then, obviously, the UEFA playoff winner, Romania or Turkey. I think, that's tough, but not... The US should be the favorites to win the group, I think, right? That's fair enough.
Yeah. Listen, Maurizio and all the boys in the locker room, I'm sorry to do this, but I have expectations now. So much of this World Cup cycle was hoping and wanting, and then when the coaching change happened and the first 6 months or so under Pochettino just didn't, it was like, oh my gosh, there is not only did the performances on the field not look good, but the spirit wasn't there. And I think we've seen that return over the last couple of months, the last couple of international windows. And granted, without some of the biggest stars in the team being available due to injury. And so we'll see, that's a little bit of a subplot for this team, but there is no way that you can look at the group that they were drawn into today and say that they shouldn't get out of that group, and probably that they shouldn't finish top of that group. You're on home soil. Of the 4 teams there, they certainly, I think, have the highest ceiling of anyone. And so, if you don't get out of this group, then in a way, it's almost worse of a failure than not qualifying for the 2018 World Cup was, because you get handed a free pass into the tournament, and then you get handed this group. And if you can't make something of those 3 games with 4 years leading up to them, then it's just an abject failure by everybody that has their fingerprints on the U.S. men's national team and the U.S. soccer program.
No pressure, right? I mean, Nick, when we look at the way that the group has kind of panned out, the schedule, playing against Paraguay at SoFi, and then playing against Australia in Seattle in the second group game, and then playing against whichever European team they face in the third and final game back at SoFi. What do you make of that for the US men's national team? Is that there's an opportunity, right, to play Paraguay and Australia the first 2 games of the World Cup group stage, and really, I mean, I would say 4 points is the absolute minimum they should get from that.
Yes, I'm going to take a page from Andy's book. Poach, I hope you're still paying attention, because I want to talk to you. It's just me and you now, nobody else.
Listen up, Poach.
They have played all 3. If Turkey make it, they will have played all 3 teams within the past calendar year with largely this group of players. With all due respect to and I haven't really looked at all of the coaching situations. This is why you brought in Maurizio Pochettino, to have this long to look at these teams who you already played in the last year and find the best way to beat them and win the group. It is there for you. And I think, honestly, depending on who wins the playoff route, I mean, Turkey will obviously be the more difficult game, but Paraguay not far behind. They're not a bad team. But you're expecting a minimum of 5 points would be a disappointment. 6, I want to say 7 is the expectation. And that's with me admitting that the team has issues. So it's just very difficult for me to look at the way it shakes out, to look at the path, and not only that, to play. We don't know the one opponent, but it's Belgium and Portugal in March. Then it's a 4th opponent, and then it's Germany as your last warm-up game. You are being tested. You are going to know who your best team is, and you should then be walking into a game where there's the pressure of the World Cup, but there's not the pressure of how will we measure up, because we've played these teams. It couldn't be better.
Andy, when you look at potential, even if they were to finish group runners-up, let's say, then they would play the run-up of Group G, which is Belgium, Egypt, Iran, and New Zealand. So even in that scenario, you would think Belgium would win that group. And
Mo Salah.
Yeah, you'd have a decent draw in the round of 32 there as well for the US. So once again, the way it's panned out could not have been any better for the USA.
Yeah, like Nick said, for all those reasons, it's right there. And also, if you just look at the squad and the players that are in there and some of the form that a number of players are in for their clubs at the moment. Christian Pulisic obviously has been in and out with a little bit of an injury, but he's been downright brilliant for going on 2 years now for AC Milan. And because the US hasn't had competitive games, I think some of that has maybe been missed a little bit. And people outside of the hardcore U.S. men's national team fan base might not be so fully aware of what our young wonder boy has turned into as a player on the global stage. He's no longer just a good American player. He is a good player, period. And for him to have an opportunity to have success at a World Cup is obviously big for his legacy within the United States. And he's going to know that. I don't know, there's such a nice, assuming health, and that means Anthony Robinson has to get back in. That means Tyler Adams has to be healthy and fit and sharp and continue playing well for Bournemouth in the Premier League. But assuming that everybody is there, this is that's like a perfect timing culmination of many years of development, not just individuals, but the collective in this group for a handful of players. This is a squad that not going to be their last World Cup, I guess. And so to have a moment on home soil and then build on it 4 years from now, I'm very excited about the possibilities of what this could become, made possible by the draw that we saw today.
And again, the draw we saw today, Nick, we're not by any means being disrespectful to these other nations here, but for the US, the nations that they could have got other than that, when you look there, great comment there at the bottom of the screen, from one of our viewers saying, Turkey is at 25th in the world, Australia is 26th, Paraguay is 39th, Slovakia 45th, Romania 47th. So out of the teams you could get, you were just ranked way higher than the majority of the teams that you're going to be facing. And again, not to be overconfident, and I think that's probably one of the issues now for Pochettino, to kind of calm down expectation levels a bit and say, all right, everyone's already given us the group pretty much. We need to go out and deliver. And I think there's one manager to do that. It's him. He kind of plays it pretty straight for the majority of the time, and he will be very, very wary of being caught on the counter or set pieces by some of these teams. But again, that just illustrates perfectly, I think, of what a perfect draw it was for the USA today.
It does, in the sense that if you really look at this list that we have on the screen right now, right? I always feel like in the FIFA rankings that the US and Australia, like teams like those, they get more points for winning like Gold Cup games or inter-confederation serious competitions. So I think sometimes the US is a little bit higher than it should be. Same thing for Australia and maybe a couple of the Asian teams. So I really think it is like, it's just USA and Turkey, but you're still the team. You're the team in the group. You would have been a pot 2 team. Let's put it that way. And when you look at when we went through the pot 2 teams, it was, wow, look at these teams. There's a healthy amount of respect, right? And between Tillman and Pulisic and Robinson, there are Tyler Adams, apparently, who can now score from 50 yards from the goal. There are enough players in this team where they're not punching above their weight. There are guys who can still make their names, but this isn't like when, who am I thinking of? DeAndre Yedlin went to the World Cup and all of a sudden they're like, oh, who is this guy? Like, these are known entities for the most part, the players who will start for the US. And it's very exciting. It's not a given. None of us are saying that, but we wanted a simple path. We got a simple path.
You did. Summed it up perfectly there. Great day and a great draw for the US men's national team.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host of NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. And for even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock.